Yes, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you are, welcome to cricket.com with me, Avnish Hegde. And let's, of course, bring on Russel Arnold, who's, of course, just had his dinner, I'm guessing, in Sydney. Russ, how are you?
I'm very good. I'm very good. Thank you. Yes, had my dinner and yeah, chilling. Chilling is the way.
Chilling is away indeed. So there's plenty of food for thought, if I may add. We'll start, of course, by dissecting the Mumbai versus Lucknow clash. And who would have ever thought 5 defeats in 5, Russel Arnold? Can you fathom that from the Mumbai Indians?
No, it's a hard one. 5 in 5 means you're really down. Of course, looking at the Mumbai Indian squad, it was not very exciting. When most would have predicted the final four, of course, Mumbai Indians are the most successful franchise in terms of winning the tournament. But there was not a lot of excitement from many that they would go on to make those playoffs. But you don't write anyone off. That's the way things are. But they really have not come to the party. They haven't looked the team that they normally are. Really competing, coming out with some startling performances tactically as well, which do tend to surprise the oppositions. But at this stage, they're the ones who are surprised at the moment.
Yeah, so where do you kind of point your finger towards? Is it a culmination of things of the team not gelling yet? Is it selection headaches? Is it just giving certain individuals longer ropes? Because you look at their attack and they've leaked runs all right. How do they address that particular worry first and foremost, according to you?
Well, it's a combination of lots of things. You mentioned quite a few reasons there.
Yeah.
Selection as was one thing. Getting the right balance in, getting the players to perform. Now, sometimes you look at the bowling and you say that they're leaking runs, but then the question has to be asked: um, is their batting letting them down?
Hmm.
So the equation changes, and I do think the batting's letting them down mostly, with a lot of their stars not really scoring. Pollard, Rohit Sharma at the top, Ishan Kishan as well. He's had a couple of good innings, but together as a team, complementing each and every one, they haven't struck gold. So if you looked at how they wanted to set themselves up, they wanted the three power hitters, the three all-rounders in those middle overs to take control of the end. Pollard and Hardik Pandya did it for them in the past, but here they held on to Pollard and they went after two guys who could do that and also add with the bowling. That was Tim David and Daniel Sams. Now that bit of the plan has also fallen apart, with David and Sams now finding themselves out of the team. So now they're mixing and matching. They're of course finding new heroes, which of course will be exciting for them come next year. But you still have a lot more of cricket to play in this tournament. And how do you turn things around is the question. That's when I always would say that the senior players, the main players, have to put their hands up and win a match or two on their own. Then suddenly, Avnish, the strange thing is you win a match,
Yeah.
50-60% of your problems, they disappear. And then it suddenly looks like a piece here and a piece there, and you're on your way. So that's where I think Mumbai Indians are at the moment. A Sharma to win it single-handedly, or a Pollard from the middle.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, it's the usual candidates that you mentioned there, Russ. And the key word here is momentum, because, like you said, if they get one, they get two, then they, of course, will kind of keep knocking in the door and then eventually push it down. That's how they've kind of gone about their business. Now, you know Mahela Jayawardene really well. How will he be looking at this game and picking his team? Will it be the case of Riley Meredith, of Fabian Allen, or Sanjay Yadav? Something new, something fresh, something to add that balance, Russ, you feel?
They can. Riley Meredith gives you a lot of extra pace, and they can go directly to those players because they are only playing the three foreign players. Correct me if I'm wrong. So one
Yeah.
can slot in. They can make the adjustment easily. But I would think go with Riley Meredith. Support Jasprit Bumrah in that fast bowling attack. That'll be the X factor. But then again, it'll come down to Rohit Sharma shining at the top. He has to give them a good start, and when he's there, the rest of them will be able to bat around them, and it'll come down to the feel good factor. Moment you start believing in yourself and that confidence starts creeping in, a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel, games are different, teams look different, players look different, and we could be in for a surprise come the playoffs.
Yeah, talk about this game a little bit more because look, it's going to be an afternoon clash, and we talked about Mumbai Indians. We'll talk about LSG next in terms of Lucknow Super Giants and what they've been going. They've impressed a lot of people, but there's one main weakling, so to speak, their number 3 position. We saw last time around Stoinis pretty much didn't play the match and then nearly took the game away. How do they kind of solve for that spot? And more importantly, do you think Stoinis should be locked in as their number 3?
I would actually put Stoinis in there. He's opened the batting, he scored lots of runs, and that would mean that he can bat deep. So yes, they brought him in for a specific role, but if a player of the caliber of Marcus Stoinis can go on and play a long inning for you, why not let him face most balls?
Correct.
That will be a great option for them. They do have it, and I reckon that's where they need to go on to, because in the last game they did use their players the way they did seem to have, but then on the other hand they missed out. Stoinis, I think I'm with you there. Get him in at 3, let him face as many balls and do a lot of damage. Maybe he can set himself up also for those death overs, and if he's still there, he'll still do the same damage. And if a player like him is in the middle, it'll be intimidating for the bowlers. The opposition captain has a lot more to think of, and he'll think of even the end overs. Let's say it's the 10th over, he'll be thinking, oh God, if the 15th, 16th over, this guy is still in, what am I going to do? It'll force him to make lots of different changes with his bowling too. So that's a great thing you need to look at. That's a trump you have.
Yeah, trump indeed. Now, speaking of trumps, KL Rahul's a trump card every time he takes on the Mumbai Indians in any colour. This time will be the first case where he's representing Lucknow for Mumbai, obviously. Do you think he's the key in this match?
I think he is, just like Rohit Sharma is crucial for the Mumbai Indians at the top of the order. If your openers, we spoke about Stoinis, and if Quinton, correction, yes, it's Quinton.
Yeah, Quinton.
Quinton and KL Rahul, they get stuck in. There's a big score on offer. Now, the good thing for KL Rahul is, if you look at omens and if you're superstitious, you mentioned Mumbai Indians, he scores lots of runs, and they're not playing at the Wankhede.
Yeah.
You know why I say that?
Yeah, I know what you said.
KL Rahul's got 2 first ballers, hasn't he? Both at the
Yeah.
Wankhede. And the moment he gets through that first ball, he goes on to score runs. That's how this IPL's been for him. So they're not playing at the Wankhede. They're playing close by. So you back him to score runs. But KL Rahul sticking in there, that'll mean it'll be ideal for LSG, because Quinton de Kock and Stoinis can just express themselves.
Let's, of course, finish this preview by just asking you a matchup. Which matchup will probably be exciting you and lots of other fans watching this? Will it be Rohit Sharma versus Jusman Tamira, which has been a riveting battle in T20s, or someone like Kieran Pollard versus Ravi Bishnoi? Of course, the West Indians struggling with spin. Which one would you pick?
Well, if you give the numbers, Avnish, that is interesting, really. Rohit Sharma versus Chamira, when you say that, Chamira's got the wood on Rohit Sharma in terms of dismissals, in terms of Rohit Sharma's strike rate. So that is very, very interesting. And then you mentioned Pollard and Bishnoi. Bishnoi is the champ there again. So LSG in a great situation. But if you wanted me to pick one of these battles, I'll pick the one at the top. Because if you can get early wickets, Mumbai Indians under pressure. And that's where Chamira and Rohit Sharma, who wins that battle, I think that battle will go a long way in deciding which way this game goes.
Yeah, it's interesting that you say that, because sometimes it's in that middle overs, death overs phase where we could see Pollard and Bishnoi. But good shouts from you, Russ, and no surprises from picking the Sri Lankan always in the mix. Finally, predictions then. Will it be Mumbai to get their first win of IPL 2022, or will that have to wait a little longer, you feel?
Well, the odds are for Mumbai Indians to win a game. They're due a win. Something has to happen for them. But I'm going the other way here. I'm going with LSG on this one. I think they've had a bit of a rest. They'll have got their thought process in, and they know how crucial this game is. They'll know what exactly to do. And LSG for the win. 6-0 for Mumbai, I reckon.
I mean, that's a record that you know what, it's an infamous one, so let's just leave that there. We've heard you back LSG before, so let's see how it really trickles on this one. You can catch it on cricket.com. You can catch Russel Arnold post-match. Apologies for no CDC fan cam today because there were plenty of fans sending all their videos in. We just couldn't choose one. And also, we'll take Mr. Milestone to finish the show.
Mr. Milestone it is, Avnish. You've asked them the question. Who needs 4 fours to score 100 fours in T20s? So it can be international matches, it can be domestic games, it can be wherever. But the answer is in this game itself. Don't forget that.
Yeah, brilliant from you, Russel Arnold. Thank you so much for your time. We'll catch you, of course, in the second part of Super Saturday. Don't go anywhere because that's coming soon.